Welcome to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast, where we learn about some success stories and some not so successful stories. But either way, we learn. Each episode, we talk with successful real estate agents and vendors about things they have done to make them successful and some things they did that you might want to avoid. Join us for each episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin.
Hopefully we'll get to cruise again someday. I don't.
Oh my gosh. I had to cancel the one in October.
Did you? Yeah, and it's 50-50 down the line. I mean, I talk to people, would you go on a cruise? And myself, absolutely, I would. But some people are like, I'll never go on a cruise again, so.
Yeah, when I asked all the agents that went on our cruise last time, they were like, no, like October's way too soon to go on another cruise. So yeah, I'll just do something next year.
Yeah, well, keep me on your list because we love to travel.
I will.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I think we're live.
To my page.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, awesome. Boom. Watch party.
All right.
Oh.
All right, listeners. Well, I have a special treat. A good friend of mine. She's awesome. I mean, just full of energy, and it's just like she's very contagious in a good way. I imagine maybe contagious is not a good word to use right now, but
no COVID over here. No COVID.
Yeah. This is Amanda Williams from the Traveling Realtor. How you doing, Amanda?
I am awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'd love to have you. And so I have to give a little backstory. So I met Amanda on a cruise like 4 years ago. Was it 3 or 4 years ago? She was on a cruise. And correct me if anything I say is wrong. She's based out of Raleigh, although she goes everywhere, and she is everywhere. I think she lives in Raleigh. They're the area. But she was on a CE cruise. And then she had a cruise last year, and that's her thing. She's a traveling realtor. She actually put on the cruise last year, got the instructor, and it was awesome. Went to Bermuda, which I had never been to. Awesome. And Amanda's also famous. She's been on Below Deck, that show. So anyway, I'm talking too much, Amanda. So it's your interview. Tell us a little bit about you and who are you? Because some people know you and a lot of people don't. So that will be listening to this. Give us some background.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that cruise so much. The first cruise I ever went on for CE credit, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I not doing this? So we did Bermuda last year. We had 60 agents on the cruise with us. And then I was planning another cruise for this October to Puerto Rico, which is where a lot of my mentors live. But that had to get canceled. So we will extend till 2021.
Awesome. Well, give us a little bit about your background personally, Amanda. I mean, how did you, where are you from, and how did you get into real estate? I think I know a little bit, but I might not know all of that either.
Yeah. So I'm actually from Raleigh, North Carolina, Garner to be exact. And I was a hairstylist before. And then I had a big dream of moving to Hollywood and doing hair and makeup for the movie stars. And I did it.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I moved out there. I packed my bags and drove across country at 21 years old and made a life for myself out there and absolutely loved it. I was there for 9 years, but I only did hair and makeup for movies for the first year.
Okay.
So yeah, I did it. I hated it. It wasn't what I had envisioned in my mind as like this glamorous lifestyle. It was more, 14, 16-hour days and a lot of very picky people. And I didn't enjoy that.
Right.
And so I met my mentors. I call them my West Coast parents, and they were huge. I call them serial entrepreneurs, and they were starting businesses. And so I started working for them and started business with them and grew the business to be a Fortune 500 company. And then we were all making a bunch of money in the recession, actually, in 2009. That was like our best year ever. And so we got into real estate and we all started investing in real estate. So we actually started investing before the crash. We started investing in 2007, 2008. lost our butts. And
learned a lesson.
yeah. But then I ended up getting back in 2010, 2011.
Awesome. Well, quickly, because I'm just curious, what business did you do before? But probably more interested in the real estate because, real estate podcast. But what'd you do before? And then the second part of the question is, what are you guys investing in now in real estate?
Okay, great question. So the business that we grew for the Fortune 500 company was a business getting people out of timeshare contracts.
Oh, okay.
It's ironic because now I'm in real estate and now I understand like even more, but timeshares are the absolute worst. They're not real estate. They're a contract that goes on forever and they're terrible and you do not want one. If you want one, if you have one, then let me know. I still have connections.
Okay.
But they're terrible. They're not investments. So that was our business. So people actually paid us to get them out of the contract legally. And so that went on. I did that for like 10 years, on and off because it was pretty good money in that. And so what we are investing in now, oh my gosh, we've done everything. So I moved back to Raleigh, North Carolina in 2013.
Okay.
And we jumped into flipping houses first. We were flipping and wholesaling. And so I ended up getting my real estate license in North Carolina just because of that. And then from there, we were flipping and I was like, okay, we need passive income. So then we started buying long-term rental properties. And I had one already, and then we bought 9 in 2015, all on owner finance terms, because that's kind of my thing. And so we were doing that for a while. We were still flipping and then got involved with my brokerage now. My dad got sick and we've pivoted a little bit. In 2019, we sold almost all of our long-term properties and we ended up getting 14 short-term Airbnb properties. So that's really what we're focusing on right now. And instead of doing the 3-day, 5-day stays, we're actually doing 30-day stays to get us through COVID.
Oh, okay. Well, that was obviously my next question. How has COVID affected the Airbnb? And tell us, if you don't mind, a little bit about Airbnb, because all the every time I talk to real estate agents, they're interested, but they don't, quite know, how does one start? How does it work? Or just, maybe the cliff notes on Airbnb, if that's okay.
Yeah, so I started with my personal house. My dad got cancer and I took him to Mexico for a few months to get treated because you can actually cure cancer in Mexico. And so we started out that way because we put our personal house on Airbnb and it ended up renting out and we made enough money to pay our mortgage on our house, all utilities, and we paid for our apartment in Mexico. And I paid for all of my dad's treatment in Mexico. And
wow, from the Airbnb? That's
no, I had my rental properties for that. Okay. And I had the EXP revenue share for that, thank God. So that's what got us in. And then while we were there, we're like, oh my gosh, like there's a lot more money in doing Airbnb versus these long-term rental properties. Cause we were only making $200 to $500 a month on all of our long-term rental properties.
Right.
And so with the Airbnb, we were making like $800 to $1,500, sometimes $2,000 a month on these properties. And so we just dove in. The first, I think our first 4 properties we owned. And then after that, we learned it's called rental arbitrage, which pretty much means you don't buy the property, you rent the property from a landlord, and then you turn around and you pretty much sublease it out. So you have an addendum for all that. So that's what we've done on the last, 9 or 10 properties that we got. And it works out really well when you do the arbitrage method because you're not responsible for if the HVAC goes out or if it needs a new roof or like one of our properties that we own had to get hooked into county water, like $10,000 out of my pocket, So it's less riskier, I believe.
Yeah, I can sympathize. And, it's ironic you're saying this right now. We just yesterday, we have some long-term rentals. I think we have 10, and oh my gosh, we got to put a roof on one and we got to update the other one. One of them, it's actually probably our nicest property. It was a house that it's awesome. It's appraised, but it's the bathrooms and kitchen. They're from 1957. $5,000 on the roof on one and 15 grand on the, and I'm just like, I mean, you know, and you're only making, like you said, like $200, you know, cash flow a month. Now, on the positive side, I mean, they have appraised. That one that I was telling you about, I bought, of course, it was 1996 for $84,000. It's worth over 300 now. It's awesome appraisal, but I'm just like, golly, I got to pay $15,000. But I admit, I knew it had to be updated. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your.
But you're right, and it's not just the updates with long terms. I mean, I love long terms. Don't get me wrong. I like long terms if you can have a lot of long terms, like hundreds, thousands of units, right? And I think I'm really leaning more towards multifamily on our next round of investing. So we're pulling back. We've sold, like I said, almost all of our not Airbnb, our long-term rentals. We have 2 or 3 left. And so we are just going to do the Airbnb for the next couple of years. I believe that we're going to see a downturn in the market in 2021, 2022. And so I'm planning on getting back into the market then, and I'm going to go right back in doing my owner finance terms, just like I did in 2013.
Awesome. Well, I have to press you a little bit here. You know, and I know, and we were talking about this on the cruise, you know, I've run into this a lot with my business and the way I don't know if I'm saying this right, protectionism. You know, some people don't like Airbnb. That could have something to do with the hotel industry or the, you know, traditional methods, you know, and I know some cities are like, no Airbnb. Have you encountered that? But, you know, it's like a lot of other things. I mean, we have home inspection and we do pest control. I mean, we do termite inspections. Well, traditionally that was a pest control business. They do not like home inspectors doing that, but I'm licensed, but boy, they hate it because it's like they've done it for so long. They don't want, I'm all for, but when you start going protectionism, you're restricting free trade in my mind. But anyway, I'm preaching. So tell me about, have you met some resistance with that and some, you know, and how have you guys handled that, or did a workaround, or is there a workaround?
Yeah. So Raleigh, I mean, we kind of lucked out. We only have 1 or 2, I think we have 2 at this point in Raleigh, like the city limits of Raleigh. And we were kind of on the brink of, like, if we hadn't voted in 7 of the 8 new city council people that were pro Airbnb, then we would have just gotten rid of them. So our 2 properties inside the city limits are leased. And one of them, we knew that the regulations were coming. So we made it where our contract was up in February because the regulations were coming in January. So we had an out. Something else that you can do when you're in this business is we have an addendum to the contract. And so you can write into the contract, like if any rules or regulations change, then that's my out of the lease. Okay. And that's why, again, it's always better to lease these properties because you have your out. Now you could go and sell that property, yes, but you know, that's going to take a couple of months. And so that's what's happening. I mean, thank God, Raleigh, we're good now, but we lease and buy on the outskirts. So like we have properties in Carver, Chapel Hill, Garner, Clayton, Fuquay, Apex, Cary, like everywhere. Right. And I like that because I am not marketing to really people vacationing. This is really not like a vacation hub, right? Mm-hmm. I use these properties differently. I use them to market to people who are looking at relocating to the area. So we're getting involved with more corporate housing. We're actually involved with some insurance companies right now as well. And but my number one goal, my number one client is someone who's like, oh, I want to come stay in Raleigh for a week or a month or 3 months, and I want to go look at houses and just see if I really like this area. And that's perfect because then I have my team of agents here. We've got, 45 agents now here in the Raleigh area. And so those agents I reach out to about helping the people staying in our Airbnbs. And then I just make a referral fee on that because I'm not really actively selling anymore. I just refer everything out.
Nice. You know, can I ask you one question? And you may or may not, but you would be the first person I would go to with this. And I know it's different. The vacation rental thing. So we're actually, I think we did. We're going to the beach next weekend, down to Charleston, and to Wild Dunes, and we were going to do the VRBO thing, but I don't think we went that route. And it was just crazy the amount of fees that they were charging. It was ridiculous, and we just thought that was very absorbent. I would have to think the owner. I mean, there was a certain amount going to the owner, which would have been reasonable, but the fees, I mean, it was like, my wife was telling me, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was hundreds and hundreds of dollars for, 3 days. Can you speak or know anything? And if you don't, I know that it's not you specifically. I guess my question is, how does Airbnb change? Is it different from VRBO, whatever? And then also, what's the deal with the fees? I mean, why is it so high, or is that just an isolated thing? And does that, I mean, obviously there are fees for Airbnb. Are they very absorbent? And I don't know. I'll leave it there. I kind of left. I don't know. Can you, what's your thoughts on that? Can you explain that? Do you have any idea what we're to there? Because you're more of an expert on this than I am.
So we chose to go only the Airbnb route,
right?
Up until COVID hit. And so now we've actually got our properties listed a few other areas as well, but we haven't gone the VRBO route yet. So the difference in VRBO and Airbnb is this. VRBO charges a flat fee just to list the property. And if I'm not mistaken, it's either $500 or $750 per property that you put on the platform. And then they charge, it's like 10 or 15% on top of that. Plus you're paying your 13% occupancy tax. Plus you're paying, you're paying a lot of stuff with VRBO, but I mean, obviously you have to pay the occupancy tax anyway. But the reason that we went with Airbnb is because it's free to list. It's only 3% in fees, and the occupancy tax is paid again. So that's 13%. That just goes directly to the government or whatever. And then we can actually do a deposit on Airbnb as well. So with VRBO, their deposit is automatically charged. So it looks like that fee is higher than it actually is. So when you're looking on there, if you click on details, it'll show you like, oh, well, $100 of this is it's a refundable deposit, refundable.
Okay.
So that's why you're like, oh my God, that's so high, but you actually get that $100 back. Now with Airbnb, we have a deposit on there, but it's not charged. So we have access to charge their card if they come in and ruin our property. However, it doesn't look like it's some crazy amount because we're not paying for it up front.
Okay. Yeah, I made a mental note. I was like, I'm talking to Amanda tomorrow. I want to ask her about that. That's even kind of high. Because I'm aware of it, but I've never actually done an Airbnb or a VRBO. I do know a couple of realtors here in Charlotte that are starting to get into it. I should hook you guys up.
Yeah, Maria Potvin. She just joined my team at EXP, and she's getting into Airbnb in Charlotte right now as well. She's a builder out there too.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Let's go over to traditional. You do have traditional real estate buying and selling. Tell us a little bit about your team and what and all you guys do.
Well, gosh. So I started my own brokerage, 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was just me because obviously I was just flipping and doing my own thing. And then 3 years ago, I ran across a cloud-based real estate brokerage that gave me the opportunity to build agents everywhere, not just here in Raleigh, and also opened up the opportunity for me to travel because that's what I love. And so I got involved with them and started building. And now we've got almost 100 agents spread across 10 different states.
Wow.
Hello, I'm Bill Gallagher with Superior School of Real Estate, and I'm here with Preston Sandlin of Home Inspection Carolina. Preston, I've always liked your style, especially those pants, and also I've been interested in the home inspection business for a long time.
Well, Bill, that's ironic. I've always admired your style, and I've always admired your ability to educate these fine folks for sometimes 4-8 hours a day. I wish that I could do what you do.
Hey Preston, wouldn't it be cool if we switched Preston, we sure got what we wished for, buddy.
We sure did. And now that you're the expert, Bill, I mean, you are wearing the pants. And I'm the instructor and the educator. Tell us what Home Inspection Carolina is doing these days to make the home buying process easier for realtors and home buyers.
Well, Preston, all our home inspection reports now are online for the real estate agent and the client to review the report online and to be able to create a repair list basically online by either clicking repair, accept, monetary compensation, and once they prepare the request, they can then press email, text, or print right then.
You mean it's all automated, Bill?
Absolutely, we are high tech.
Wow. What else is Home Inspection Carolina doing different these days?
Well, Preston, we're training our home inspectors to be non-alarmist. We are training them to put things into perspective and to simplify the message for the homeowner.
Non-alarmist is key, Bill. You remember those days of the 100-page reports and those 3-ring binders that would just go on and on and on, la 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 la. Thank you for being a good non-alarmist.
And Preston, one more thing. We fix the small stuff for free. Do you remember when home inspectors always put those little nitpicky items on those reports?
Oh, bless their hearts.
Well, at Home Inspection Carolina, if we can fix it in 5 minutes or less, we do it for free. We're better with a caulk gun than a keyboard any day. We just fix it.
You mean there's no cost for this, Bill?
Preston, it's free.
Wow.
Well, Preston, these pants really are a catch.
Well, Bill, I've enjoyed wearing the suit, but I don't think I could wear it every day because I got to fix the small stuff for free, and I don't want to ruin a good suit.
Preston, it's been a lot of fun flipping the switch.
That they cut something over there.
Okay, it happens.
But I'm running off my phone right now, so we'll keep going. So sorry about that.
No worries. We're good. We're
Awesome.
good. So I'll catch you up on what I talked about.
Okay.
So I was just kind of going through how did I get into passive income in the first place?
Right.
And then, of course, how we met and how you branded yourself as well. Because when you brand yourself, then that allows people to really think of you. First thing, top of mind. Preston, the inspector with the crazy pants. Boom. You're not just a normal inspector.
Yeah, well, I wanted to be, and your moniker's great, the traveling realtor, because that's immediately what I think about right away. And I wanted to be the house whisperer, but when I looked up that domain, it was $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Inspector Crazy Pants was $10. So that's how it all started.
Inspector Crazy Pants?
Yeah, Inspector Crazy Pants.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you go to, I'm homeinspectioncarolina.com, but obviously I own Inspector Crazy Pants, Inspector Fancy Pants, a couple of others. They all point to it. So you put it on there.
That is awesome.
Yeah. If you can embarrass your kids and be remembered, win-win.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to make up for lost ground here. That is terrible, but that I lost internet. But anyway, so, and thank you for carrying that. That was very professional.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We got this.
All right. So, Amanda, tell us a little bit about coaching. I obviously know your answer. But how do you, because I interview a lot of real estate agents. What's your feeling on coaching? Should someone get it? If someone is getting a coach, how do they know that they've got a good one? If somebody wanted to get a coach, how would they find a good coach? That sort of thing.
Oh, man. I've been through a lot of coaches in my life. Gosh. So I think when hiring a coach, it is super important to look at that person, look at their life, look at the house they live in, look at the freedom they have, look at the car they drive, look at everything. And I know you shouldn't be judgmental, whatever, but you are. Every single person is. I'm not going to go hire a coach that lives in a little 300 square foot house with a beat up car. Like, I'm not going to do it. Right.
Well, it's like a fitness person. I hate to say this, but if
Yeah,
I'm going to hire a fitness person, I want that person to be rock solid, because I'm probably not going to do everything they say, but if I can do half of it, but anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. Yeah, coaching.
No, that's so true though. So when I first found the coach that I've been with now, actually I have a lot of coaches, but I'll tell you this. So I had two coaches at the same time. And when I met Coach Burt at the 10X conference, Grant Cardone's 10X conference, that's been 2.5 years ago, he was on stage and I'm like, that guy believes the same things I do. And he's into short-term rentals. He has a jet. He has all of these amazing vacation properties. He's speaking on stages. He just believes a lot of the same things that I do. And so I fired my other two coaches and I hired him. And it was the best decision I've ever done because he's the one that got me outside of my shell and taught me all about becoming that person of interest, figuring out what it is that you want and figuring out how are you going to merge those two together. And so it took me a long time to figure out how to merge traveling with real estate. I'm like, how am I going to do that? And, it was a combination. It wasn't just coach, but it was a combination of, all of the people that I surround myself with and the retreats that I go on. I go on a lot of investment retreats and self-development conferences and retreats. And I'm just like all into that. And so when you're hiring a coach, you really have to look at them and their lifestyle. But I think everyone needs a coach. I really do. It's super important. I hired a public speaking coach, someone who helps me with my story and getting out what I need to get out in order to attract the right people to me, because that's what I'm about. I'm about attracting people to me at this point in life. And then I can kind of sort from there because I don't want to go chase people and then figure out after I've, got them into my life or they've joined my team or I'm in business with them. I'm like, oh gosh, like that's not my person. Energy is very important to me. And if someone has negative energy, I don't want any part of it. They're an energy vampire and I can't have it in my life. I can't have that in my agents' lives.
No, excellent.
Because I want to create that tribe, that group.
No, excellent. And I think you do. I mean, I think that's the thing that it is. It's definitely you want to be a part of it. And I think the great thing is there's a lot of real estate agents that work really hard, and there's the Gary Vee school, which I love Gary Vee, don't get me wrong. But, he kind of sells this, you work hard till your knuckles grind and you eat dirt and you da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, Gary, but for how long? I mean, nobody wants to do that as a reward. We work to do the things we want to do in life, work hard, play hard. And I think what's very attractive is you're not just selling I don't know if I should say selling, but it's sort of a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Everybody wishes they could do real estate, be successful, but also have freedom. There's kind of this, and don't get me wrong, I have a strong work ethic, and I know you do too. It's kind of like Jimmy Buffett, if you think about it. Jimmy Buffett sells this lifestyle of, living in the Caribbean, and he does have a good time, but make no mistake, there's a lot that goes into presenting that, and, there's a lot. It's not like they don't practice, and they don't have a schedule. They got to be in this city, and there's a lot of work to it. But I think, and I've seen a little behind the curtains with you. I mean, you do play hard, but you work hard. So it's kind of a work hard, play hard, and sell a lifestyle. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, that's what I see.
Oh, you're right on. I'm always working, but for me, work is fun.
Yeah. Well, combined work and play. Yeah.
Yeah. Like yesterday we went to the lake and we went to see Alex's parents down at the lake, but we knew that there were 2 properties in that community that we wanted to go look at. And so we ended up putting one under contract, and then the other one I put an offer on, and we'll see if she takes it. I'm not in a hurry to get it. But to me, like, that's fun. Like, hey, I'll mix a little lake time with the little, hey, I'll throw some offers out and see what sticks. Yeah, and but I'm always, yeah, and it's funny because people are always like, well, if you're listening to, audio books or reading or watching YouTube videos, like, I'm always educating myself. I don't even have a car anymore. I haven't had a car in 1.5 years because I travel so much.
Right.
So, but when I did have a car, I'd never listened really to the radio. That was like my university on wheels. I was always playing something that was feeding my mind. And that's super important. I mean, I even feel like I do watch a little Netflix now with Alex. But that's just, that's late at night. And I even feel a little guilty sometimes when I am vegging out watching Netflix, because I'm like, no, I should be feeding my mind.
Right.
Because you can't feed others. You can't lead others unless you lead yourself. And in order to lead yourself, you've got to 100% put your everything into what you're doing, but you have to love what you're doing.
No, and I totally agree. You're preaching to the choir. I love it, love it. I call it Windshield University. I mean, I'm older, man. I used to listen to all the tapes and stuff, side B. Wait, where's the other end? But instead of going down the road listening to, and unfortunately, sometimes I'll get caught in the trap of listening to the news. And we should keep up with some things. I mean, we do need to know a little bit, but it's such a negative. I mean, if you listen to the news and fill your mind with that, they're in the anxiety business and they're in the paralyzing business. They want you to be paralyzed and think that you can't do anything unless you buy this antidepressant or you vote for this guy. That's what they want to put you in a state of you're not, you're unsafe and your life's at risk and the killer hornets are going to kill you or something else. I mean, I don't know. I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm like, you know what? Listen to podcasts. Find a couple of people you like and follow them and start listening. And you know what? When they interview people, that leads you to other people. It's kind of like, wow, I really like that interview with her. I'm going to follow her and I listen to her. And then all of a sudden you're off on this. And your life is so much more positive. And like every once in a while, I'll drift back and start listening to the news, and I'll find myself in a bad mood, and I'll say, you know what, I got to get back to my Windshield University and all the people I like and who are positive, like you said, positive vibes, and it just when you go out to dinner after that, you're just like you're full of optimism and you see opportunities where everybody else sees doom and gloom. But also you're smart in like going out and then looking at houses. I'm not an accountant, but I do know that if you do some business, talk to an accountant. I didn't stay at Holiday Inn Express either. There's certain stuff you can write off, which is great. I don't know. I know that, my accountant says like that cruise, I can't write the whole thing off, but I can write parts of it. So certainly
Why do you think I built a real estate team in California?
Yeah, exactly. Because you are going there to deduct business. Exactly. And I know somebody who has a condo in Hilton Head, but they also have a warehouse there. So they go there and, but anyway, I don't want to alert the IRS or anything, but talk to your accountant. Well, what's the best real estate you've ever gotten, Amanda? Best real estate advice you've ever gotten?
Best real estate advice. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff popping in my head right now. I mean, obviously when you're an investor, it's location, right?
Right.
But I think just not, and I'm talking from the investor standpoint, not like the real estate agent standpoint, but not letting your emotions get involved and really just base your buying decision on the numbers, not how much you love the house.
That's great.
Now, I'm not saying that for buyers. I'm just saying that for investment stuff.
I hear you. What do you think? I mean, you've got a team there. You've come across a lot of real estate. And now you're, teaching, coaching, and that sort of stuff. And you've obviously met some really successful agents and some that maybe not as much. What do you think? I mean, and everybody's different and there's different ways to be successful, but what do you think the common ingredient is, or what is it that the ones that aren't successful are missing that it seems like the ones that are have? Or is there
grit,
right?
Prey drive. What my coach calls it is prey drive. And what that means is you just got a burning desire inside of you that you're going to win.
Yeah.
Because if you don't win, someone you love is going to fail. And until you get there, then I don't know if you can give it your all. Because I don't know if you can give something your all if you don't know your why and you don't know what the and I hate to say this, but like what is the negative situation coming out of that, right? Like what if I don't win, if I don't do this, if I'm not successful, then what does that mean? Like, who's going to lose? Am I not going to be able to support my family? Is my mom, who's living on less than $1,000 a month right now, going to be able to keep up with all the bills since my father passed? Like, that's my why.
Yeah.
So I have, like, there's no giving up. There's no just, oh, I'm okay, I'm good. No, it's not about me anymore. It's about her. And until you get that deep down, I don't know if you'll have that drive, but I think it's having that drive, and I call it grit, just because there's no giving up.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
I'm with you, and I think I know. It's like you're going to go, if there's a wall, you're going to go over it, under it, around it. Where a lot of people let that wall stop them. Other people are like, we're getting around it, over it, under it somehow. I'm just not. Everybody has setbacks. It's just, do you let the setbacks stop you? And I know I'm sorry, I'm so talky. This is your interview, but what you said, I heard described one time.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, is like, imagine if you were, there was a tight wire between two very tall buildings, and obviously, if you fell, it would be bad, but what you want is over on the other side of that building. Not too many people would walk across there. But let me ask you this: what if there was somebody on the other side of that building that had somebody you loved and had them under some sort of, threat of some sort of violence or death? Would you go across that building? You damn right you would. It would. If I got to scale across, whatever. So the people who have the grit have that mentality that I'm getting across there. It's not. I don't care what. I'm getting there. It's going to happen because my will is so strong. My why, as you say. So anyway, sorry, but when you said that, it kind of reminded me of that. I had heard that one time before, and I always thought about that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's all about just not giving up. It's like, I told this story the other day to someone, and I never even thought about it, but they were asking like why do you keep going, right? Like, what is it? And I'm like, because I know I'm going to win, because the only way you fail is if you stop. Yeah. So I used to barrel race horses when I was younger, and I was in a circuit. It was like a 12-week circuit, and in order to win, you want a beautiful saddle. I mean, it was gorgeous. I still have it, actually. And so awesome. I knew I didn't have the fastest horse. I knew that. But I also knew that if I showed up every single Thursday night and I ran a good run and I didn't knock over a barrel, then I had a chance at winning that saddle. And that's what I did. And I won the saddle. But I wasn't the fastest horse in the ring. I wasn't the best rider there. But it was just showing up. And as long as every day, every week, you take that step forward and you show up, then you have a chance at winning. And most likely you're going to win.
Yeah. No, and I tell my kids that all the time too. Like, they'll try something new or a new sport or something, and, they'll go out and, I remember my daughter one time, like, when they went out for volleyball, anyway, this one team early on, they just got humiliated. I mean, my daughter's team got humiliated. She got humiliated. I mean, they just got the poo beat out of them, and walking back to the car, nobody said anything, and I was like, that sucks, doesn't it? And she said, yes. And I said, I want you to remember this. And I said, remember how this feels. Everybody needs this done to them. And then when you get out there to practice and you get out, you remember this feeling and you remember what it felt like to be humiliated. And you tell yourself, I will never, ever, ever let that happen to me again. And that happens to everybody in business and life. At some point, you just get your teeth kicked in, and badly. And a lot of people say, well, that's a failure. No, it's not. That's just that you can. What is that? You can turn that into fuel. Like, I will never let that happen to me. And correct me if I'm wrong. I was thinking when I was talking to you, did you kind of grow up a little poor, a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too. And there's been times, that there's some stuff, being poor and people who weren't poor and the way they looked at you. I still have some of those scars on my, and I bet you do too. I mean, I kind of spotted that. I could be wrong, but there's always this desire that, I don't know, you think you're better than me? Okay.
It's funny. It's really funny you just said that, because I grew up with, my dad worked nonstop. He worked like 3 jobs, but
Right.
he was, I guess he was an entrepreneur. Like, he owned his backhoe business. He fixed cars. He did this, he did that, but he was always trading time for dollars.
Right.
Always. They never had any passive income coming in. But my dad worked that hard so my mom could stay home with me. And he bought me the stuff I needed for my horses. He paid my entry fees. But the only reason I was able to do that is because my dad worked so hard. And that meant him giving up time with our family. And I didn't realize that until I was in my early 20s. And I was going through a lot of personal development, because I'm like, why didn't dad hang out, And it was because he loved us so much that he was out working for us. It wasn't that he was not spending time with us because he didn't want to spend time with us.
Right.
That wasn't it at all. And so as my dad got older, in his 70s, and then 80s, we actually started to have a relationship again. And then that's when I took him to Mexico and spent those months in Mexico with him getting treated for his cancer. The most amazing thing came out of that. He ended up passing away a year ago, but not from the cancer. And I would never take back anything that happened, because we built that relationship so strong. And now that I've turned that mess of my dad into a message, and my message is, you've got to have passive income, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to get in the accident, or if your parents or your loved one's going to get in the accident. You never know when COVID is going to hit and you can't sell a house for 6 months. Do you have enough money coming in every single month to pay your bills, or are you going to lose your house? Or are you going to lose your car? And that's what's given me so much passion and so much drive, because of what happened with my dad.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful and grateful every single day for every minute that I spent with him, and for that happening, because now, I can help other agents.
Yeah, awesome. And we followed you on Facebook through all that, and I'm sorry that he did pass, but it's awesome that you got to reconnect and spend that time. That was pretty awesome. Well, I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit. What is, you've been around real estate, you've been over some agents. What's the wildest, craziest thing you've ever seen in real estate, a real estate story? And it has to be G-rated, because I told iTunes. Anything crazy, like during a showing or a listing or anything like that? Or, any kind of crazy stories? You or agents that you work with that you've heard of?
I've got crazy client stories.
Well, and change the names. Don't use any actual names.
Right.
Change the names to protect the guilty or whatever. You have any crazy stories?
Oh, God.
Or short one?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so I do have a crazy story. So we bought a house on subject to a couple of years ago, meeting subject to the existing mortgage. And so the lady that we bought it from fed me a big old long story about how she had cancer. She was in foreclosure. And so I went and I went to the hearing, and ended up paying and the $14 grand that she was behind, and ended up doing a subject to and purchasing this property from her. And it was completely full of stuff. She had already moved away. And I gave her like an additional 2 weeks to come get all your stuff out. And so she sent some people to come get the stuff out that was important to her. And then obviously I'm like, okay, well, after this 2 week time, like everything is going to the dump, or we're getting rid of it. Like I got to clean the house out. I got to flip the house. And so about a week after we started cleaning out the house, she flips out on me. She calls the real estate commission, and she goes crazy and starts posting all over Facebook how I stole her house, and I stole all of this stuff in her house. And there's like $10,000 paintings, and there was like $20,000 of cash in the house, and there's like all this stuff that's worth all this money, and I stole it all. And so it ended up, I mean, she got an attorney involved and everything, and ended up like, I was just like, dude, how much can I pay you just to go away? Because this is stupid. So I think I paid her like a couple grand. I'm like, just stop. Just stop. I'm not trying to hire an attorney. Paying you a couple grand so that I don't have to deal with this is so much cheaper than me hiring an attorney and going to fight you. So the bottom line is, like, people can call the commission on you and they can hire an attorney for any reason. And it does not matter if you did anything wrong or not. So that's my crazy lady story.
Yeah, and my question is, if you had cash and $10,000 paintings in there, how come you were 14 grand and your house was in foreclosure? Why wouldn't you have used that to save your house? I mean, she didn't have that in there. I can tell you that right now, because I have rentals and we have to clean them out. They never leave anything. They just leave you with stuff you got to put in the dumpster. That's what they leave you with. I mean, there's almost nothing. Well, one more like serious question, then we'll have some fun, the lightning round. If you woke up in a brand new town tomorrow, so you went to sleep, you woke up, and all of a sudden you didn't know anybody. You didn't have it, but you still have all your knowledge, your room and board's taken care of, but you got to like start your business all over. Well, I mean, all the hardware and stuff's taken care of. You don't have to buy a computer or anything like that. Just nobody knows who you are. What would you do if you had $5,000? How would you, in other words, the question is, what's your best return if all you have is $5,000? What would you do?
That sounds amazing. I think I'll do that. So let's see.
Could you do it all again with $5,000? That's the, and what would you do? What steps would you take? But
well, I guess,
taken care of.
My answer is different now. I mean, if I were a real estate agent still and I still wanted to sell houses and I went into a market, then, I would focus on what my passion is. Like, let's just say I was big into wine. I would go join some wine clubs and I would start building relationships in that area. And then calling people and seeing if they knew anyone in the area. That's what I would do if I was still selling real estate. What I'm doing now, I think the biggest thing is I would really just focus on whatever it was that I wanted to create a course around, and hire videographers and photographers and create content, because content is king right now. And the more content you can push out on your social media, the more you're going to become known and the more opportunities that you're going to have to sell whatever you're selling. It doesn't matter. I have an Airbnb course. I'm coming out with a real estate investment course. It doesn't matter. As long as you have that following and you're known, then you could sell whatever you want to sell. So I think it just depends on going back to your why,
Awesome.
What is it that you want to do?
Yeah, no, great answer. All right, Amanda, we're going to play a game, this or that. I'm going to give you two things, you choose. All right. Dog or cat?
Okay.
Dog or cat?
Dog, but I'm allergic to dogs, so it would have to be like a hypoallergenic dog.
All right, Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, I have to say YouTube. YouTube.
Phone call or text?
A text.
Text. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
iOS or Android?
iOS.
Swimming or sunbathing?
Sunbathing.
Football or basketball?
Neither.
Neither?
I just go for the fun of it. I don't really care who wins.
Gotcha. What's worse to have to do, laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Jogging or hiking?
What is it?
Jogging or hiking?
Oh,
Like
hiking.
Yeah, hiking. All right.
Hiking, 100%.
Tennis shoes or flip-flops?
Flip-flops.
Me too. The traveling realtor would have to say flip-flops. Online shopping or shopping in a store?
I like shopping in a store as far as clothes go. Everything else is online.
Yeah, because you don't know if it's going to fit or whatever. And then if it doesn't fit, it's a pain to have to send it back. Car or truck?
Yeah.
What's that? Car or truck?
A car. A fast car.
Fast car. Blue or red?
Blue.
Money or free time?
Freedom. Free time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say.
Gotta have money to have the freedom.
Exactly. You try to get one so you have the other, but the other is the most important. Would you rather go to like an amusement park or spend a day at the beach?
Beach.
Oh yeah, I knew before I asked that one. Wait a minute, that's the last question. That's the most important question. Just a couple more here. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Sweater or hoodie?
I don't know. I like my little zip up hoodies. What are they?
Yeah, that would go under hoodie. When sleeping, fan on or fan off?
Fan on.
Everybody has said that. It's so crazy. And then the most important question of all: toilet paper. Do you have it like the coming this way? Is it over or under? Do you have a beard or a mullet?
Over.
Yeah.
Bugs me. Yes.
Who are these strange people that like it the other way? There are people who do that. I can't believe it. All right. Well, I have a song lyric for you, but I don't know where in the heck it is right here. I might just have to sing it to you because I can't find it seems like it's gone away because my kids got on my Spotify since I had it all geared up to go, and now they're on there. It's on a different song. I'll start it off and see if you can finish it. She came down here from Cincinnati. Took her 3 days on the plane. I got fins to the left, fins to the right.
Oh yeah. I don't know the words, but I know the song.
It's fins. It's fins. I was going to do that because I was trying to find a traveling song. There is a song called The Traveling Man, but oh my gosh, that's like.
You know what the best song is?
What's that?
It's called Vacation by Dirty Heads.
Okay.
If you listen to the words of it, it's amazing.
I'll have to look that up. I looked on your profile to like try to pull some music. I see you like Slightly Stoopid. I love them. They're awesome.
Yes.
But I was like,
yeah, we love that.
Yeah, I love like reggae music and stuff, and they're actually out of California. But I was going to do that, but I'm like, I like Slightly Stoopid, and I don't even know the words to the songs. I just kind of know the beat of it. So I was trying to pick something. So now I'm going to go put my kids in the headlock after this is over because I had it queued up and they've got on my Spotify. Now it's like some rap song or something that probably has bad words. But anyway. All right. Well, last two questions. Tell us something that not too many people know about you, or what skill. Do you have one of those weird skills, like you can crack your elbow behind your head or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Gosh, something no one knows about me. I feel like I'm so public with everything. I don't know. I mean, I've been to 43 countries, so I have a lot more to go to. I did travel around the world, like completely around the world. Like I flew around the world. Took me 2 months.
That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Well, Amanda, last question. If someone were getting into real estate today, they were just, maybe getting out of college or just wanting to change careers, and they came to you and said, Amanda, you've been successful in real estate. I might not have the exact same personality as you or whatever. What advice would you give them? I mean, if they say, please give me some advice.
Yeah. I mean, I always go back to who were they in their past life and who do they know? What do they enjoy? What is their why? I'm so big about that. What are they passionate about? And then create a plan around that, because I'm not a believer in, I'm just getting into real estate because I want to make money, so I'm going to go sell luxury houses. Like, no, if that's not your passion, if that's not your why, if you don't like working with that type of client, then do not do it. So, like, for instance, I have an agent right now in California, and he works for a hospice home, and he loves it. He loves the people. And what we've created is a way for him to educate these people and the heirs that are going to be, inheriting these homes. And now he's known as the real estate agent for all of these heirs that are getting these properties. And he's taking care of their loved ones in hospice. And he's also listing the properties for them. And that relationship's already built and it's beautiful. And I just think that, doing something like that, really getting keyed in on exactly who you are and who you can help, what's the problem that you can solve. That's the most important thing. And so it takes a little bit of time for me to figure that out with new agents. I literally have to sit with them and like learn who they are. But once we do, the sky's the limit.
Oh, that is awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I knew an agent that her husband was a police officer, and she really knew all the ins and outs about being a police officer, and she became the go-to realtor for police officers. And somehow was able to get them a good rate, and because she would have me do a little presentation, and she would do it at the police stations, like at their thing, and I'm like, I hope I'm not wanted for anything, but she would have like so many people show up, but she found that niche, kind of like what you're talking about, and something she had an intimate knowledge of and communicate really well, because she knew their pain points and that sort of thing. But awesome. Well, I did lie, because I do have one more question. Sorry, I just thought of it. The cruise, I got to ask. Obviously, you're planning on doing a cruise in October, and all the listeners, if you want to go on a cruise, I'm pretty sure Amanda's going to put another one together. And you can go, and she has an instructor. You can get your CE. She usually has an update and then a couple of electives, and probably the broker update and the other one. What's your thoughts now? Like, obviously it was planned for this year, but it's been put off because of COVID, but this is going to pass at some point. What are your thoughts? Are you going to have a cruise? I mean, I know it's not set in stone, but you obviously are thinking something now. What are you thinking as far as the cruise goes?
I'm thinking something way bigger.
Oh, really?
So yeah, 2021 is really going to be the year that I'm going to put a lot of stuff on the books, just because I don't know what's going to happen this year. And planning something, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and I don't want to plan something and then it just go up in flames. So I'm probably going to postpone everything until 2021, but I'm not only going to do Realtor CE cruises. We're going to start doing retreats. Nice. And we'll do Realtor CE retreats. I'll also have my passive income retreats, all different types of retreats. I'm so blessed to know the people that I know through my coaching, honestly. And like I'm doing a speaking engagement in June with Tim Story and Sharon Letcher, who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just surrounding myself with those people. My vision now is to put on retreats for real estate agents, and we can teach them certain things. We can teach them, the passive income. We can teach them, finding their why, whatever it is. I have a passion for that. And when we just did a 5-day video challenge, like Facebook Live video challenge, and we had 120 agents in there, and just watching those agents doing their very first Facebook Live lit me up like inside. And it was awesome. It was so awesome. And I just loved encouraging them and inspiring them and getting them to get out there and do more Facebook Lives. And so I see more of that kind of stuff in my future. With retreats and stuff. I'll always do the cruise because the cruise was so much fun. And my goal is to have 150 agents on a boat. So that's going to happen. And so, yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming in 2021. Just follow me at Amanda the Traveling Realtor, and you'll find everything's on there. So Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Well, that was my last follow-up. Where is that the best? Let's say it one more time. So all the people who are listening to this, or if you watched the video and you got value, and Amanda gave value, and I'm telling you, follow her. I mean, we follow her. She's just interesting. She makes you think about things that you might not have thought of and stuff like that. How can they follow you? What are all your, and can they give you some likes on Facebook, to help you out? Because if you gave them some value today, maybe they can give you a little bit of value back. Where and all can they find you on the internet one more time?
Yeah, that would be awesome. So yeah, I'm Amanda the Traveling Realtor on all social media platforms. So I focus on Instagram and Facebook, of course. And then if you're interested in like Airbnb or anything like that, I do have a website for that as well. But we're revamping because we had to pivot a little bit.
I got to ask you, are you on TikTok, or you have any plans for that? Some people say that's the next thing. Some people say it's silly. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I got a lot going on right now. So yeah. I think just managing these two platforms and a little bit on LinkedIn is, I'm probably at my max at this point until I can get everything automated that I want to get automated.
Yeah. I'm a little bit on TikTok, but then again, I have a 15-year-old daughter, so that helps.
Yeah. You know,
Oh,
one thing I did get on a couple weeks ago was Web Talk. And I like Web Talk because when I post to Web Talk, then it automatically posts to my Facebook and my LinkedIn, and there's no fees or anything like that. And then you can sponsor it for free at this point. But in the future, anytime I sponsor or anytime anyone that I refer to that platform, they're trying to take over Facebook. But in the future, anytime that they pay for an ad, because I'm always paying for ads and boosting my posts, then whoever that person is that referred them to the site gets paid. So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got onto that, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something. So I'm just playing with it. It's very small right now, but they have big plans, so we'll see.
Awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for your time today. And everybody who's listening, remember, Amanda, the traveling realtor, probably if you just Google that, it'll lead you. Yeah, she's on Instagram and Facebook. Follow her, give her some likes. And she's always, you'll get value. You'll get value. Well, thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Preston. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you soon.
You got it.
You've been listening to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin. Join us on the next episode where we'll be talking to a successful agent or vendor about the right things to do and the wrong things you should avoid. Join us on the next episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast.